Thank you, Swami, for inviting me here and giving me a very gentle and a kind introduction here. Very much honored. And Swami didn't tell one thing, that we not share only the DCIF, but we share the same year of the birth also. We have the same year of the birth, only few weeks apart, from each other. Now, before we talk of the Guru Nanak, I will talk of the principal Mool Mantra of the Sikh religion as such, where Guru Nanak gave the basic principle. That is, Ik Onkar, Satnam, Karta Purakh, Nirbhav, Nirvair, Akal Murat, Ajuni Sabang, Gur Prasad. Now here, he has not put ik as in the words, he has put as a digit number 1. So that's the first letter where our Guru Granth Sahib, the holy scripture of the Sikh, is starting with the number 1. He says the Creator is the one and there is a oneness with all. That's the first ik onkar meaning. Then he said Satnam. Sat means truth. His name is the truth, and he lies in the truth only. Karta Purakh. He is the creator, and he has done everything. He or she, we don't know. It is the creator, we will call it. Then Nirbhav, Nirvair. He is attached to everyone. He loves everyone. He is not afraid of anybody. And he is not inimical to anybody. Nirvair. He is not enemy to anybody. Not inimical. He loves everybody. Akal Murat. Kal is what we call the death. Akal means it's a negative there, which is life. He is timeless, eternal. Ajoni Sabang, because everything in the world is born, but the God is not born. Ajoni Sabang, he is self-inculcated, self-eliminated, so he is within self-existent. Nobody created, we don't know. And when the creation was created, we don't know. How he created, we don't know. We get it only through teachings of the Guru, Gur Prasad, with the grace. And here the Guru could be a person, your holy book, or the God himself could be your Guru. It depends how much you reach that stage. So this was the first thing he told us, that he hasn't taken birth. Any person who has taken birth, he could be a messenger. He can't be God. Because God, as such, the name G-O-D, he is the generator, he is the operator, he is the destroyer. He or she. That's the generator, the operator, the destroyer. All three things are within this one. 3 different departments he created. Now, we'll come, since it is the 550th anniversary of Guru Nanak, and Guru Nanak was born in 1469 in a village called Raipur Ki Talwandi, which is now in Pakistan, in district Lahore. It's near Nankana Sahib, it is known as now, the new name. He was born there. His father's name was Kalyan Das Mehta and mother's name was Tripta. He was coming from a Hindu family of high caste Khatri origin, Kshatriya origin. As a child, when he was born, most of the child, when they are born, they cry normally. But it is said that the midwife was surprised when she saw the smiling child who is looking at her and giving a smile. And that was his first, and she was very much, she said she has given birth to so many children, but this is the first child I've seen which is not crying and which is, smiling. He came and told the parents that the son is born, and then all rejoicement is there. And at that time, it was a ritual like that they will call a pandit or a Brahmin to make a birth, timings and birth stars. They call it in Hindi kundi, So he was making that one. But when he saw it, he said, this child is going to be something great in the world. He will be a well-known person. That's what he said at that time. Then as the child was growing, around 5 years, he was put in a primary school. And the first teacher was Gopal Das, was the first teacher. But Guru Nanak, even as a child, his mind never stuck to the studies much. He was more into going into the wilderness and talking with others, Sufis, saints, sadhus, those who were meeting him at that time. And there were only two religions prevalent in India at that time, Hindus and the Muslims. These were the two religions. They were the most prevalent there at that time. So all those people meeting him, he will go there. And the father then thought that this boy, by the age of 7, 8 years, he thought he's not going to learn anything. He's not interested in the school. So he took him out and he said, put him as a shepherd boy, that you take the buffaloes to the forest and look after. But from there also, he won't care for the buffaloes. The buffaloes will go in some to neighbor field or this one, and the complaints coming to the parents. But he says, go and check the crop, and the crop was all right. He said, what did I do? I did nothing. I was just in the trance life. So all these stories of different miracles are about him. Then around 1485, he got married. It was, marriage was done to a person called Mula Khatri. His daughter was Sulakni, and they got married at the age of 16. But he won't bring the wife. He brought the wife only at the age of 19 to his friend. Meanwhile, he was sent, since the father saw that when he was around 9 years, they put up a sacred thread for, Hindu families, they were putting the sacred thread. So he said, when the Pandit was coming, Hardyal was coming to put the sacred thread on him, he held his hand and he said, I don't want this thread for you, from you. He says, give me a thread which will not burn, which will not soil, which will not get dirty, and it will go with me. He said, why are you putting this thread? He says, I am putting this thread because it's a ritual of the Hindu religion and all that. I'm putting this thread on you so that it will take you, and you will only then enter the Hindu religion. Otherwise, you will be a Shudra. Shudra means you will be very untouchable. You doesn't have the right to live. That sort of a thing it was. That you are only to do the menial jobs, and otherwise you will become that. He says, no, I need a thread. Now, who is making this thread? He said, the weaver is making the thread, and he's a Shudra. So you are putting that thread on me. And there are different threads for different status of the caste of Hindu religion. Kshatriya puts your something like a jute, whereas the Brahmin puts the cotton, and the Vaishya community, they put the silk one. And the Shudra and the woman doesn't have the right to put that one. So he said, give me a thread which will go with me, because it will be my deeds which will go with me, but not this thread. Because when I will be cremated, when I die, I will be cremated, and this will be burnt. So how do you justify that this will take me to the other world or to the near to the God? He said, get me a cotton which is made of compassion, and the yarn of contentment, and the knots there, what you put on that one, because to make the thread so that it doesn't entangle, they put up knots in the thread. He said, then this knot should be of the consistence, and then you are giving a twist over there. Let the twist of virtues be there, which will never get dirty, which will never be broken, and it will become. That was his first entitlement with this one. And then he further argued with them, and he didn't put it. He said, you are telling me I do not agree with you, that you are putting this thread. But now, at the same time, he never told anybody to get the religion converted. He says, love all, hate none. That was his motto, which he always gave to everywhere, wherever he went. He guided everybody, like whether a small person or a king or any journal, etc., whatever the things have occurred during that time, he has guided people that one. He traveled. The revelation, he was always interested in this one. So around 12 to 13-year-old, when he was sent to another school, which was more of a Sanskrit teacher called Pandit Brijnath. When he went there, and he learned more of the, religious books, the Vedas and other things, but he was still not satisfied with anything, and he was searching for more and delving into more. And the father said, let's start agriculture with me. So he went there and he said, what agriculture you are telling me? He says, Manhali Kirsani Karni Saram Pani Tankhed Naam Bij Santok Suhaga Rakh Garibi Bij. He says, if you have to do a plowing of the field, plow your mind, plow your heart itself. Manhali Kirsani Karni. Let me do that one. Naam Bij. Let there be the name of the God. Let that be the seed in me. Santok Suhaga. You see, when you do a crop, you put some sort of a manure over it. First, as soon as you have put it, water and all that, and the saplings have come, then you put the manure. He said, Naam Bij Santok Suhaga. Let the contentment be that manure on me. And I should be well contented, only then. Saram Pani Tankhed. Let that water of love should be there, where I can grow the field, grow in myself. And I have to do everything. Later on it was said, Mantu Jot Sarupa. Let the mind know itself what you are. You must know from where you have come. That you have come from that energy, from that Creator. So you must know yourself. That's what he preached to everybody and everywhere, wherever he went. After his marriage, he had 2 children. Then he was still not, he was looking for more and delving more. So he was put into another school. Before marriage, he was put into another school called Madrasa, it was done by the Muslim Nawab there. And he said, why don't you teach him? Where he was taught about the Sufi. He came into Sufi people and he learned all that. Marfa, Shariat, Marfa, Hakikat and Tariqah. He learned all those things. But again, he was not satisfied with that one. He used to go into the wilderness, go into the forest and seek advice from the others all the time. Then he was decided that there is no, so let him get married at 16. Once he got married at 16, by the time he 19, the wife came, he had 2 children. He was in his early 20s, where he was sent to, his brother-in-law my elder sister's husband, she was working for a bigger Nawab in a bigger district level in Sultanpur Lodi, which is in India now. So he was sent there that, okay, you stay with me. She said, I will mind him and I will give him a tender, loving care, don't worry. And he took the whole family there. But he was never satisfied. Then he was given the work of a storekeeper there. He became a storekeeper there who was giving food, because at that time, rather than the money, a lot of food things were given to the laborers and the workers. So he was giving. So while he was giving on the duty, sometimes he will go into a trance, and when he was counting, he reached up to number 13. In my language, 13 is known as Tera. Tera means yours. And he got stuck there, Tera, Tera, Tera. People were coming and taking grains and going, taking everything. In the evening, he was reported back to the count that, look, probably you have lost everything today. So he said, okay, fine. You go and check it. When they checked it, it was rather more. He said the people were honest enough, they were taking whatever it was due to them, and I was in the trance. God helped me out and he created more here. One day he went to, there was a river by side called Vaini River. He was there. He went for a bath there in the morning, and he never came out of the river for 3 days. 3 days and nights he was there. And it was said that, oh, he's missing. He's dead or what, you know. Nobody knew. And after 3 days, he was seen coming from the other side where he uttered the first sentence, because he says he was summoned to the God, and God told him, you go and preach humanism, service of the mankind to the whole world. But at that time, in the medieval time, there was a lot of friction, falsehood, war, etc. with the communities. Nobody liked each other. There was a more of hatred, discrimination was there. Muslims never liked Hindus, Hindus never liked Muslims. They were calling them Malaych. The Hindus will call Muslim Malaych. Malaych means they are downtrodden people, and they were calling them as kafirs, as infidels. So there was a lot of hatred, they were ruling, and Guru Nanak said there should be no domination of the people. There should be no celebrity. When he came out of got the revelation, he said the first time, there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim. Everybody is the child of that one Lord, one God. That's in our Guru Granth Sahib it is written, Ek Pita Ekas Ke Hum Barik Tu Mera Gurhai. We are the children of one Lord, and you are my Savior all the time, and you will save me. Tu mera mata, tu mera pita. You are my father, you are my mother, you are my brother, you are my sister to the God. He said, I have formed every relation with him, but the best relation to form with the God is like the wife of the God. As a jeev, as a live soul, which becomes the wife of the God. That's what the relation he formed, not as a son, not as a... He said, you are everything for me, like my mother, father, everything you are, but I will like to be your wife, as a life, wife-like. You know, although there are different sexes, but this is the soul life. He the parent soul, and we are going, what we call it, Paramatma or Paramatma or equal. So I have to join with that one. So that's the best relationship they tried to form with it. Now, after the revelation, he thought, I got a call that I must go and sort out the humanity and the whole world. So he made 4 trips around the world. After Ibn Buddha, if you think, he is the most traveled man. 22 or 23 years he traveled on foot. And his modus operandi was that wherever there is a big function or a big religious gathering, he will go and talk about that. He will go talk to the people of all denomination and of all the religion, irrespective of the caste, creed, color, he will go and talk. But he will try to create and demonstrate in such a way so that more and more people will know about it. And then those people will spread the message. That was his way of marketing at that time. And if you look up what we are talking of interfaith nowadays, he created that interfaith in 1497 when he started his first visit. He went into first visit, when he took it, he put up a like Swami colored clothes and cup which is high, pointed cup, and he put up a rope around, and he put up a white thing around, tied around the waist, and he kept moving it. He went to Haridwar, the pilgrimage place for Hindus. He saw people are giving water to the sun, and he put back towards the sun and started, because the sun comes from the east, so he started throwing water to the west. And everybody started, "Are you fool? You know, what are you doing? It is to be done this way." He said, "Why you do this way?" And they said, "Because our ancestors, we are giving water to our ancestors." So how far they are? They say, "Oh, they are 1,000,000 miles away, you know." He says, "I'm throwing water to my fields, which is only about 200 meters, 200 miles away. So it will," he said, "it will never reach there." He said, "When yours can reach for millions miles, this is all a false ritual. You should not do this one." And in that way, he contradicted that ritual. He said, "These are rituals. You should be clear from your heart, and you should show your deeds looking after each other." He said, it's the same way that if people take bribe, or people involved with the falsehood, or people do atrocities on the others, and a tyranny could be there, they say they are like bloodsuckers. It should not be done. It is the same as if a beef to a Hindu or a pork to a Muslim. Hak praya nanka ussuvar uskai. It's the same way for a Muslim. If he eats pork, that's considered bad and a sly thing, and the same thing for a Hindu. He said, it is that much. If you trouble people, if you do not look after the people. From there, once he went to Kurukshetra. That's also in the north part of the India, near about Delhi, about 150 kilometers from Delhi. And it was on a solar eclipse day. And it's a belief in the Hindu religion that if you eat anything on the solar day, the food gets spoiled and this. And nowadays we watch the solar eclipse, we watch everything. So Guru Nanak said at that time, he was cooking food by the poolside. And he said, "Nothing will happen to me, you will all see it." And there also, at one place, at another pilgrimage place, he saw one person was sitting and he was saying, "Come along, I will show you the heaven, I will show you the God." And he was catching. Guru Nanak played trick for them. He took out a pot which was in the front of him when he closed his eyes and put it on his back. And then when he woke up, from his trance and he opened his eyes, he saw his money box is missing. So he said, he got very panicky. "Where is my money box?" And Guru Nanak said, "The money box is here. And you say you can show God and you can't know your money box is sitting behind you." So he was talking with rationality and with logic to the people all the time. Wherever he went, he talked. And he gave, if he went to in the first one, he went around Haridwar and all those places. Like he traveled from Russia up to the Far East, present-day Myanmar, the Burma, and in the south, second visit, he went towards the south of his birthplace, towards Maharashtra of India, the west coast, and down below he went there. Up to Ceylon he went there. When he went towards the east, Puri, he went to the Puri, place called Puri, and he went to the Ceylon, and there but wherever he went, he didn't tell anybody to convert into his religion. He says, you are human beings, treat each other as human beings and serve the human. Form a group of you and look after each other. And he gave us 3 principles. That kirt karo, naam japo, and vanchako. Now kirt karo means have your earning honest by honest means. No bribery, no falsehood, or no, like playing tricks with people and stealing money or falsehood. No. He said it should be honest earning. Then you must thank God and ask for the grace of the God all the time. And keep the God in your mind all the time, and keep remembering that it is there, and it is our deeds which we have to reply Him. If we do the bad deeds, we have to reply. Then vanchako. Vanchako is you must share whatever you have earned. You must give it back to the society, to the community, to your own near and dear, and you look after the poor, the destitutes, and everybody. And that principle he did it himself also. When he finished all his, travels, he came back to Kartarpur, which is now, you are hearing of the Kartarpur corridor in Pakistan. A Sikh shrine is there, and he remained there for 18 years after all this one. And he plowed the field, and he distributed everything to the people. He was cooking food for people, plowing it, cooking and serving to everybody. And people from all faiths were coming. And he said, let every house be a religious institution of kindness, institution of humility and humanity for everybody. Dharamsal they call it. He said, let every single house be like that. It's not only that you go to a temple and do it. No, it should be from your within. And like he said, God lives in you. In Ramkali, on like page 876, it said, Dukh darwaja ro rakhwala, aas andesh tui pat kare. He says, it's like the God is sitting in a castle in your heart itself, but as you make a castle, if you look up the architect of a castle, we make a castle, but we put a very big ditch around the castle, with full of water all around, so that no enemies can cross. And you should have only a small bridge, one-way bridge. When you are on this side, you can lift up the bridge so that nobody can cross. That was the way of making castles. So in the same way, he said, it is like because you have to take a misery bridge, you have to cross and go face the reality to cross the bridge. As soon as you reach near the castle, there are 2 doors with 2 panels of hope and despair. When you open it, if you have control, because there is always, whenever there is a gate, there is always a sentry is there, a guard is there. And this guard is your anger, is your guard. So So you have to control your anger. If by suffering and all that, you have attained yourself, as you make the gold ornaments, you put it under the fire and then you make the gold, then they start shining. Same with the diamond, you have to cut it off to bring the shine. Same way your soul, when you cross through it and you reach a certain, you have to control your anger. The time you control your anger, or when you are angry, what happens normally if you are angry? You close your eyes and you don't know what you are doing then. That's what, you close your mental eyes, you close your physical eyes. So once your eyes, the internal eyes, that you have to cleanse yourself inside, once that is open, then both the doors of hope and despair, you can open it up and you find the God sitting in front of you. As the crop is going, or in any castle, a crop is going, a lot of weeds come out. We have got also 5 weeds living inside us. What we call it, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, and Ka. Kam is the lust, the anger, greed, affection, and the finest is, and the most crooked thing in a person is ego, arrogance. And it is the arrogance which we have to melt it down, and we melt it down only by becoming humble. Let humility die over aim. That's what Guru Nanak has started. He was put into a lot of difficulties anywhere he went, but he came out and he preached the same 3 principles everywhere. Everywhere he preached the same principles. And when he came back to Kartarpur, he plowed the fields and he looked after the people there. And basically he says that everybody is accountable like. We are accountable. How do we are accountable? Because whatever we do, as you sow, so shall you reap. That's what he told us. Like to the woman, he said the woman is as equal as a man is because she gives birth to. He said, how can you call woman inferior? Because she has given you the birth. She has given birth to the king and the saint both. He said, so kyo manda akhiye jid jamme rajan. How can you call woman inferior? So she is as equal as a man is. Same number of the chromosomes. If one chromosome is more, it's a congenital disease. Even if fraction is more, it's a congenital disease. So he said, you cannot call the woman inferior. And then at that time, when the woman was pregnant and she delivered a baby, it was a ritual, in the cultural ritual in the Indian side, that the woman has become dirty and she cannot do prayers, she cannot do this, she cannot do that. So he says, no, you can't call that, it's a natural process. And the woman also got the periods every month. These are the natural process which the God has created. You can't call her at that time that she is like improper and dirty. No. He said dirtiness is in your mind. Man ka sutak lova. The mind, sutak, the dirtiness of mind is your greediness. And the dirtiness of the tongue and your speech is falsehood, slandering, that one is. And when you tell lies, that is, be truthful to yourself, then you are clean. You have to clean from inside. Eyes see. When you see, look, you cajole somebody's wife or somebody's daughter, and somebody's properties, wealth in the woman, or that's what he said, Hakpraya Nanka, Husuver Sky, that you should not look for. That is the dirtiness of the eyes when you look up for somebody's properties, somebody's things. these things. And for hearing, he said the kanni, we call it Khan. So when you hear something, slandering of the others, you do backbiting of the others, or you listen to the false stories, that is your dirtiness of the ears. He said, the clean people will work in a clean way and they will be truthful to themselves. So be truthful. As everybody knows that truth is high, higher is the truthful living. He says, Sache ure sabko, upar sach achar. It is your behavior which is higher than the truth itself. If we behave correctly and we walk on it, and he said, the truth never gets old. It always remains shining. And diamond never gets old. So truth is the supermost diamond of the world. Here diamond we can see, but truth we have to feel. We have to feel those things all the time. We have to tell the truth. We walk on truth, we will pass any hurdle. That's what he propagated to us all the time. Everybody is, like I said, accountable, aim of the life. What is the aim of the life? And how the creation is created. It is, the God himself knows when he created. Rati Ruti Tithiva. When he created, how he created, we don't know. We don't know. He created, he put the same energy into the everybody. Whom to call good or whom to call bad. Like there's a slok, Kabir's slok. Kabir is a Muslim saying. It's in Guru Granth Sahib. He says, Awal Allah, Noor upaya, Kudrat ke sab mande, ek noor te sab jag upaya, kaun palik ko mande. That the God created the light and he infused the same light into everybody. Whom to call, what we call soul or a part of the, because these are a part of the God, which is infused into all of us. Whom to call good or whom to call bad, wherever I see as one. I see as one God everywhere. I see God everywhere. And this he proved when he went to Mecca also. He was putting his feet towards Mecca because he went into the dress like a Haji, blue color dress with a small satchel with him, bag, and he was carrying the prayer mattress with him. And because he was supposed to get up in the early morning, he didn't get up in the early morning, and he was putting the feet towards Kaaba, and somebody comes who was their leader like in between. He said, who is this one who is sleeping with the feet towards the house of the God? Then he says, okay, I'm sleeping, I'm resting here, but wherever your God is not there, you put my feet that direction. And then that fellow moved the God. He said, this side is also God there, this side is God. He said, you are saying God is here only. He said, no. And there, the first Muslim became a disciple of Guru Nanak also, from Mecca. Because he never said, this is not the God. He said, God's house is everywhere. And this has been written by Gurdas. He was a contemporary at that time, and he has written it, and a written record is there. And Guru Nanak was also writing all his hymns and everything himself and putting in the bag. All the time he was doing it. He knew Persian, he knew the local dialect Punjabi, and this alphabets were there at that time. And then our second Guru organized much in a better way, in a pure grammatical way, and gave what we call it Gurmukhi, in which the Guru Granth Sahib is written. When he went to Baghdad, Guru Nanak went to Baghdad because music at that time was considered as a social stigma, that it excites the sexual feelings and others, so it is bad and it makes you mad. So Guru Nanak had his disciple called Mardana, who will play something like harp called rabab, is the same thing looking like, and the plate is a string instrument. So he told him, okay, you start this one and I will start singing. Early in the morning he started singing and the people came to beat him up, but they couldn't throw the stone. Then people went back to their, the head of the institution there, Dastgir, Peer Dastgir. They went to that Peer and they asked him that this is happening. He said, okay, I will go and talk to him. So he was summoned in his office. When Peer Dastgir asked him, he says, according to us, you played music, we should kill you by stoning to death. And if you have to answer 3 questions for me, if you answer all the 3 questions, you will be exempted then. You will be relieved, then you won't be killed. He says, okay, ask me 3 questions, whatever you want to ask me. He says, tell me, what is God? Who is God? And when was he created? So he told him, can you start counting? So some person, he told one of his disciples, start counting. He said, 1, 2, 3. He said, it's wrong. He said, what's the wrong in it? So he said, okay, do it again. When he said 1, he said, it is wrong. Before 1, there was a void, there was a 0, God was sitting. Then he was the only one. So he said, okay, I will buy your argument and I will agree with you. He says, what does it? Where he lives. He said, can I have a glass of milk? So they brought the milk. When the glass was brought, he looked up glass here and there, and he said, there is something in it. The priest, that Peer also, the priest, he got the night. He said, what is there? We just got it now. He said, okay, we'll get the new cow, and from cow we'll get the fresh one. So he milked again the cow and brought it to him. He said, yes, there is something. He said, he is just bringing it. He said, I'm telling you there is something in it. He said, what in it? He said, I can see butter in it. He said, but everybody knows there is a butter in the milk. But he said, then you have to churn it to get the butter. It's the same way. God lives in you. You have to churn your soul to get to the God. It is within you. He said, okay, I agree with you. He said, what does he do? He said, he can do anything. So when he said he can, what does he do? He said, can you come down from your chair? Now you're sitting on a very high chair. Can you come down and ask me here? When he came down, Guru Nanak went and sat on his chair. He said, this is what he does. Up till now, you were asking me a question. Now I will ask you a question because I'm sitting on your seat. That's what the God does. He can bring you from a pauper to the riches and the riches to the rags. He can bring, and he says, like all these, there are senses in the body and all that. You must control your senses. You must be humble with the people, no slandering, accept each other, tolerate each other. And he never believed in idol worship or anything. He said, God is one. If you count all the numbers from 1 to 10, 2 ones will make 2. And then if you add another 1, it makes 3. So every single number has got number 1. Without the 1, nothing is there. That's why we call God is one, and there is a oneness with everybody. That's what Guru Nanak taught us. He never told us to become, you are a Sikh or a Hindu or this. He contradicted caste like anything. He says you cannot say I'm a higher caste. People move from here to here, all are the same. It's your work. You do work for your living. And when you work for a living, but you must share it with the poor. You must share it with the community. These are the things he taught us. And after his 4 visits all over the around, He came back to Kartarpur and he bought the land there. He plowed the land, tilled the land, and he distributed food, what we call it, langar, community kitchen. You go to any Sikh temple, we will always get a free vegetarian food to everybody. And we take it to disasters. You can Google Khalsa Aid, and in Khalsa Aid, they give food and shelter to all the people. Most of the Gurdwara we call it the place of the Guru's door, Guru's abode. And we do it there in Gurdwara and give the food to everybody. Because we said, if you are hungry, you cannot listen. So first fill up your tummy and then listen. Because if you have got energy, and you need energy for doing this one, but we must control ourselves and all these, bad vices we have to control. Not to talk ill of each other. We do not worship idols. He told not to smoke at that time to the people. And not to, look after, to eye for somebody's wife or somebody's property. No. It was totally, he prohibited it. And he says, you are accountable for your things. Birth and the death, he says, anybody who has taken birth, he has to die. It's the norm, a rotation. And as well as environmental impact, he said, Pavan Guru, Pani Pita, Mata Tatma. Air is your Guru. Water is the primal elixir of the life, and that's the father. And earth is a mother, which can give you everything. So that's how tolerant is the earth. We are, walking, dancing, and jumping on the earth, and we are drilling and mining, but she is still giving us. How patient she is, That, and Guru Nanak said, Gurudev Mata, Gurudev Pita. Your first teacher is the mother. The second teacher is the father. After God, it is your mother, it's your father, then your Guru, the fourth one. And all these four, they give you everything without expecting anything from you. They simply give. A mother will never expect anything from the child because she has such a innocent love for the children. She doesn't expect anything. Even if a child doesn't listen to her, she will still love him. Makes a lot of mistakes. Come back, she gives a hug. And that's the, these four things have been taught to us, that they are always for you. All the time they will be for you. And the Guru is the one who brings you from darkness into light, from ignorance to a knowledge. He gives you knowledge. People may have academic knowledge, but not the wisdom. Guru gets you the wisdom. There's a very fine difference between the knowledge and the wisdom. Knowledge can make you arrogant. Wisdom won't make you arrogant. Once you are not arrogant, you are humble, you are a God man, and the God prevails in you then. Anything else you want to ask me? Thank you very much. I can keep on speaking, but if you ask me,
Thank you very much. But before I do a formal thanks, there's room for questions. If there are no questions, there are no answers. So, yes.
So, Guru Nanak, he was the first guru
yeah.
of Sikhism.
He said, my Guru is the God, is my Guru, because I was summoned to the God. And then we call him as Jagat Guru, that he is the Guru for everybody. Because he told Brahman, that Brahman, if you say that I'm a Brahman, he said, then why you have taken the same birth? Kabir said, you have taken the same way the birth from your mother as I have taken the birth. And if you are a Brahman, that you are the God, that you are near to the God, you should have come walking on the road, which you have not come. you were small and you have grown up, I have grown up. And there is also, you are also made of muscle in the bone, and at the same time, I'm also made of the muscle and the bone. There's the blood in you, there's not milk in you. Everybody has got, this one, the blood. So how come it is your deeds which, when you can understand what the God is, only then you are Brahman. Otherwise, by knowing the Vedas and the books, you can't be Brahman. If you are born in a Brahman house, you can't be Brahman. To the statesman, to the king, he said, a king has to look after the people. If he doesn't look after and he creates cruelty on his people, he's not a king, he's a demon. He told, like Babur when he attacked Saidpur, a place in Pakistan, and he imprisoned a lot of women, a lot of people were killed, and they were made all slaves. And the more beautiful the woman was, the more they were taken and they were sold like slaves into the present day Syria, Damascus they used to call it. And they were sold because they were coming from that side or to the Greece side. They were selling them as slaves. Guru Nanak was also caught in that one because his friend was a carpenter and he used to stay in his house of a carpenter rather than going in somebody's rich person. He will always stay with the lowly to the lowly people and eat this simple food which they were eating. He was also imprisoned by Babur. When Babur he was put in the jail, and everybody was given a stone, stone mill to grind the wheat, because they have to get wheat for their horses. So these prisoners were used. They were doing it. When Guru Nanak went in Stras, and that was moving itself, when the guards saw it, they ran towards him and they said, we don't know what is happening. And nobody is working and everybody is saying something, and everybody is, this one is turning at his own. So Babur came there himself. He says, you can go. He said, no, what's the fault of them? Release everybody. And he got everybody released from there. Everybody was released and sent back. And then Babur became, a disciple also. And this is mentioned in our Guru Granth Sahib, that Khurasan khasmana kiya, jamkar Mughal dadaya. That means from Khurasan, Babur came and he attacked India, and a lot of forces came and they did a lot of atrocities on the people, killed people and all that. And between the Muslims and the local Hindus, there was a fight. Everything killed. So it was mentioned in our Holy Scripture also, that he complained to the God at that time, that you didn't feel any pity on these people when he was attacking, and you were on the side of a demon, like he was a cruel person. And he released everybody, Baba, and he became disciple for Guru Nanak, and he said, I will do it. But he said, you bless me with something. He said, your reign is only for 4 or 5 years. Somebody else will come. But then your son will take the later on. He did tell him, that whatever deeds you have done, you will get the answers. Baba remained only 4 or 5 years in India. Then his son became, after I think 10 years, his son got back.
Thank you.
So I'm going to formally thank you for your wonderful talk, very inspiring talk, I think everyone will agree, on the life and teachings of Sri Guru Nanak. It's remarkable how these great mystics and saints will talk the same language. All the teachings and the life experiences seem to be reflected in any great person within the religion. When we look at this religion, though, we find that most religions will espouse the principle of love,
Yes.
and yet they seem to ignore that and fight with one another. And so Guru Nanak would have understood that and reconciled the two parties, not just by saying things, but by entering into the religions them himself. What a wonderful life that was, very inspiring. So even in his early days, you can see how he had this yearning. So he looked deeper and deeper. He wasn't satisfied. That was brought out as well. And then the fact that he traveled, particularly in those days, we can see how difficult it was, but how much mileage he covered.
He is the most traveled person after Ibn Abuta. Ibn Abuta was traveling for himself, but here he was traveling for the uplift to cause of the humanity. He was traveling from one. He has gone up to Tibet, Sikkim, that side far east, and on the mountains. All those people, those who were sitting in the mountains, some, rishis and sages, etc. They said, how is the people down below? I said, you are sitting here, people with the wisdom. Go and guide them, but not by living on the Himalayas. You won't get God. God is lying with the people. They said, no, these, because of the women and householders, we cannot. He said, the householder is the best life. Because on whose house you are going to beg as when you become a sannyasi? On a householder house. So they are the best one who can give you something. So but teach them, give your wisdom to them, so that they can also get the fruits, what you are trying to have. They can also get.
You see in all these great lives, though, that as a spirit of revolution has to be there, the preparedness to buck the system a little bit, and go against the norm, particularly the superstition that we find. And so this was very key, it strikes me, to Guru Nanak. We have our own revolutionary in terms of the propagation of the Vedanta philosophy, and that gives us a connection with Ireland in the form of Sister Nivedita. But there was also an Irish person.
Yes,
who,
I will tell you about
who he's going to now talk about a little bit. Yeah, right.
You see, before that one, I'll say, the world is like a flower bouquet. God created. He was sitting in a miratic mood. He used the same clay and the same oven, made a different design as a designer, created white, the dark skin color people, and the yellow and the brown. But he used the same 5 elements. All those 5 things are the same, in the same proportion in everybody. Any part of the world, they're the same. Now, I forgot one thing. Swami Vivekananda, he said about Guru Nanak that he was a gentle Nanak who has put marvelous love for humanity and for the world. That was his word for Guru Nanak. Swami Vivekananda, there he's, So these people, these were the people with the wisdom, So we take the knowledge, but we have to convert that knowledge into wisdom. Now, like Sister Nivedita, there was a man called Max Arthur McAuliffe. He was born in a place called Monego in County Limerick. And he was baptized in 1832 in Temple Granton Parish. When he studied in that national school, his parents were both teachers, and they were about 11 siblings. He was living with 11 siblings in the same house. in the school. Front was the school and the back was their home. And this fellow, after clearing his graduation from National University Galway, at that time it was Queen's, I think, University, he passed the degree from there, and he was selected for civil service in India. He went to India in 1863. He went to India, and he was appointed as an assistant commissioner in Firozpur district, and from there he rose to the rank of divisional magistrate. Nobody knew him in Ireland, but most of the Sikhs, they knew about him, because in 1893, when he first went in 1863, he came into contact with one Sikh fellow called Professor Sadul Singh. He came into his contact of the Oriental College, and he asked him why you are putting turban and all about the Sikhism, and he became very much interested in Sikhism. And he learned more, and he learned Punjabi also, and he translated the part of our holy scripture, Guru Granth Sahib, into English. Because before that, a man called William Trump, he was translating it, but he translated it very lot of wrong things he wrote, which Sikhs didn't like it. So when he approached, he got interested. So a lot of Sikh leaders, religious leaders at that time approached him. Can you do the translation? So he had learned the language already, because the language is, you have to, if you are translating any scripture, some essence you can lose it, because you have to understand the basic of that language, in what context, reference to the context he has said it, in what way they meant it, because the same word could have 10 meanings in different scenarios. So he understood it, and he did the very correct part translation of Guru Granth Sahib, and the Sikhs revere him like anything. And his book called The Sikh Religion, he wrote that book in 1909, and he presented the first essay, A New Religion, and which will have some words to say to the world about humanity. That's what he said in 1909 in the Oxford University. And the book was published from there, and you will not believe, it's more than 100 years. It never ran out of print, and it is still printed. And people take it. It's taken as, and he wrote the Sikh history, collected all the Sikh history, because Sikh history was a lot of being missed in between. So we are searching it from Mughal history, and some he wrote it. So he corrected a lot of Sikh history. He did a good reparation for the Sikhism. So recently, when we came to know, about 2 years ago, we started the work through DCI of Dublin City Interfaith Forum. We approached the Limerick Council, and they got interested, and we got all his genealogy study done. And on 11th September, on his birthday this year, we raised a plaque in his name in the same school, and the plaque was raised. I can show the plaque here if somebody can see it.
Could you repeat his name, please?
Max Arthur Macaulay, and his I'll show the plaque, I'll pass around. Where is the plaque gone?
When he passes it around, don't make any foreign calls.
And he was, and nobody knew him here, and now, at least he was an unsung hero. So that was the plaque we raised. When he was dying, 10 minutes before dying, he was doing a Sikh prayer because he converted himself to a Sikh and he was very much impressed with it. And that's the plaque we raised for him. You can pass it.
So thank you so much. As a token of our appreciation, that is now, you know, I was involved in the interfaith movement. No, I was involved in the interfaith movement long before I came here, but really on the internet by correspondence. There was a friend of mine whose name was Robin Libron, a Jewish lady, and so she actually wrote and published this book, Searching for Spiritual Unity, Can There Be Common Ground? A basic internet guide to 40 world religions and spiritual practices. So I present that to you.
Thank you very much. Awesome.